More and more research is coming in all the time to suggest that we are living in one of the most anxious cultures of all time. In fact, some studies suggest that the average high schooler today suffers from the same level of anxiety as the average psychiatric patient in the 1960s. But you know, and I know, that it's not just teenagers. The reason for this rise is still a little bit up for debate. People of faith might say that as faith becomes less prioritized than in a given culture, anxiety is going to be a natural result. Sociologists are going to point heavily to the rise of technology, or specifically the internet, social media, and our phones. We are more aware of the worst case scenario, more knowledgeable about what could go wrong, and we have more access to the bad in the world than we ever have before. Are we the first humans to experience daily shame from strangers as a result of social media? Perhaps. And not only do you see a lot of the bad, but you also see a lot of the good. In other words, you see what you don't have, where you don't measure up, where you haven't traveled yet. You get the idea. It's a lot of pressure to keep up, and we can almost never slow down, disconnect, and breathe anymore. The point is, if you experience anxiety, whether minor or severe, whether you're young, old, male, female, you are most certainly not alone. In this series of 4 talks, we want to quickly get the conversation started around what anxiety is, what causes it, and what we can do about it. To be clear, these conversations are geared more towards general feelings of anxiety that essentially all humans experience at some time or another in their lives, really by the nature of being human. Common anxieties can still happen every day, and at times it can be very intense and overwhelming. But if you're experiencing extreme or debilitating levels of anxiety, be sure to contact us directly or pursue professional help. When we refer to anxiety, it's important to know that we are talking about something different than stress. Stress typically refers to uneasiness caused by an external factor, and it's usually time-stamped. While we use the two interchangeably in our vocabulary, it's important to know the difference. You're not anxious about the project due Friday, you're actually stressed about it. You're not anxious about the bills, you're stressed by them. Anxiety is more persistent and often lasts after a threat is passed. It can range from simply a feeling of an unease all of the way to debilitating dread, and it really has the potential to take us out. Anxiety robs us of all kinds of things. At the top of the list is sleep, connection, peace, joy, and oftentimes fun moments or opportunities. It can make us feel isolated, alone, and sometimes downright crazy. And even worse, the more we try to suppress it or ignore it, the more it seems to pop back up out of nowhere. Here's the important point we're wanting to make in part 1 of this mini-series on anxiety. When you think about cause and effect, anxiety is an effect, not a cause. Anxiety is a symptom. It is not the root issue. This is a big deal. It's common in our culture to hear, I struggle with anxiety. And that's true, you might. But you're struggling with the symptom of the result of something that is underlying. Anxiety is simply a signal that something isn't right. It's the fever to your flu. Managing symptoms is important, and there are good, helpful, effective tools to manage your anxiety. But manage it forever, and you will never make real progress. So, to get our conversation started, anxiety is that feeling of generalized unease or tension that 1, has no clear beginning or end, and 2, is always the result of something deeper that has been disrupted in our lives, even if we have no clue what that may be. Know that you are not alone. And whether you've been fighting your battle with anxiety for the first time here in this crazy 2020 or for as long as you can remember, I promise you there is a way forward. And because we are for you, I want you to check out part 2 to discover where to get started.